Have you ever known the words in your head, but the moment you needed to speak, everything disappeared? A simple question comes toward you. Your heart becomes a little faster. Your mouth opens, but your mind feels empty. In that moment, it can feel like all your study means nothing. It can feel embarrassing. It can feel heavy. It can even make you question yourself. Maybe you tell yourself that your English is not good enough. Maybe you think other people are naturally better, faster, smarter, more fluent. But what if that is not the truth? What if your English is not the real problem? What if your mind goes blank because your brain is trying to protect you, not because you are incapable?
Many English learners live inside this quiet frustration. They read well. They understand videos. They know vocabulary. They can even make sentences when they are alone. But when a real person looks at them and waits for them to answer, fear enters the room before language does. Pressure becomes louder than memory. Self-consciousness becomes stronger than grammar. The mind stops flowing, not because it is empty, but because it is crowded. Too many thoughts arrive at the same time. Say it correctly. Do not make a mistake. Speak faster. Do not look stupid. What if they do not understand you? What if you forget a word? What if they laugh? A person cannot speak freely while fighting this many invisible battles in a single second. This is why today's message matters. I do not want to teach you English as if you are only missing rules. I want to speak to the part of you that becomes tense, quiet, and disappointed when it is time to use your voice. Because some people are not losing English. They are losing calm. Some people do not need 10 more grammar lessons before they speak. They need safety. They need rhythm. They need a slower, kinder way back to themselves. By the end of this episode, I want you to understand why your mind goes blank, what panic does to your language, and how you can slowly train your voice to stay with you when the pressure rises.
Let us begin with something simple and honest. There is a big difference between not knowing English and not being able to access English under stress. These are not the same thing. If you understand more than you can say, your mind is not empty. If you speak better when you are alone than when someone watches you, your mind is not broken. If you remember words after the conversation ends, your English did not vanish. Your nervous system simply took control for a moment. This is not failure. This is a human response. I want to tell you about someone I will call
Lena. Lena studied English for years. Her notebooks were full. Her listening was improving. She could understand podcasts. She could read articles. She could write messages carefully. From the outside, everything looked fine. But whenever someone asked her a direct question in English, her body changed. Her shoulders became tight. Her breathing became short. Her thoughts became messy. Even simple questions felt dangerous. Where are you from? What do you do? What did you do this weekend? These are not difficult questions, but inside her, they created a storm. She knew the answers. Still, her mind would go blank. After every conversation, she felt regret. On the way home, perfect sentences appeared. Better words appeared. Clearer answers appeared. Yet when the moment was real, everything had disappeared. Lena thought the solution was to study harder. So she collected more vocabulary,
She watched more videos. She saved more phrases. She tried to improve her grammar. She practiced pronunciation. All of this helped a little, but the freezing still happened. That is when she began to understand something important. The main problem was not missing knowledge. The main problem was the emotional meaning she had given to speaking. Speaking English no longer felt like communication. It felt like judgment. It felt like a test. It felt like danger. And when the brain senses danger, it does not ask, what is the best sentence? It asks, how do we survive this moment? This is one reason your mind goes blank. Fear narrows attention. Pressure shortens breathing. Self-monitoring steals energy. When too much of your attention goes toward watching yourself, very little remains for actually expressing yourself. It becomes hard to remember words because your mind is busy.
Stop checking your face, your accent, your mistakes, the other person's expression, the speed of the conversation, and the possibility of failure. No wonder the sentence cannot come out smoothly. You are trying to perform while also trying to hide. Another reason this happens is perfectionism. Many learners secretly believe that if they cannot speak well, they should not speak at all. They wait for the perfect sentence. They search for the exact word. They want to sound intelligent, natural, fluent, and correct all at once. Yet real conversation does not work that way. Native speakers pause, they restart, they forget words, they change direction in the middle of a sentence. Real speech is alive. It is not polished like writing. But when an English learner expects speaking to sound perfect, the brain becomes stiff. And when the brain becomes stiff, language becomes slow.
There is also something deeper that many learners carry quietly. Some people do not only fear English, they fear being seen. English simply reveals an older wound. Maybe they were interrupted often. Maybe they were corrected harshly. Maybe they were laughed at once, and that memory stayed. Maybe they learned to believe that their voice must be flawless before it deserves space. When this belief enters language learning, every speaking moment becomes heavier than it looks. It is no longer just about English. It becomes about worth, confidence, identity, and shame. That is why healing your speaking voice is not only a language task. Sometimes it is also an emotional task. Sometimes fluency begins where self-protection softens. Sometimes confidence does not grow because you learned 50 new words. Sometimes confidence grows because you stopped treating every conversation like a courtroom. A softer inner environment creates a clearer outer voice.
So, what can you do? The first shift is very simple. Stop asking, how can I sound impressive? Start asking, how can I stay present? Presence helps more than performance. If your goal is to impress, pressure rises immediately. If your goal is to connect, the body relaxes a little. Even a small change in intention can change the energy of your speech. You do not need to win the conversation. You only need to stay with it. The second shift is to trust simple English. Many learners abandon the words they already know because they think those words are too basic. Then they chase difficult vocabulary, get lost, and panic. Simple English is not weak English. Clear English is powerful English. A
short, true sentence is more useful than a complicated, broken sentence. If you do not know the perfect word, use the easier word. If you cannot explain everything, explain one thing. If the long answer disappears,
Give a small, honest answer. Communication grows from what is available, not from what is ideal. The third shift is to slow the body before asking the brain to perform. A tense body creates a noisy mind. Before speaking, let the shoulders drop. Breathe out longer than you breathe in. Feel your feet. Relax the jaw. These tiny actions may look small, but they send a message to the nervous system. The message is, this moment is safe enough. Once the body feels a little safer, the mind stops protecting so aggressively, and language can return. Lena began to practice this in very small ways. Before answering, she took one quiet breath instead of forcing speed. She stopped apologizing for every tiny pause. She used shorter sentences. She allowed herself to say, let me think for a second. She learned a few gentle bridge phrases that gave her time. That's a good question. I'm not sure how to say it, but let me explain simply. These small phrases changed everything because they gave her a path through the panic. They created movement where there had only been freezing. You may think progress should look dramatic. Sometimes it does not. Sometimes progress looks like this. Your mind still goes blank, but you recover faster. Sometimes progress means you still feel nervous, but you keep speaking anyway. Sometimes progress means the sentence is simple, yet it comes out. Sometimes progress means you leave the conversation with less shame than before. This is real progress. Quiet progress still counts.
There is something else I want you to notice. The blank moment is often shorter than the meaning you attach to it. A pause of 2 seconds becomes a story of failure in your mind. A small mistake becomes proof that you are not improving. A forgotten word becomes evidence that you are behind. But this story is usually much bigger than the event itself. Most people are not watching you as harshly as you watch yourself. Most conversations do not collapse because of one pause. Often, the real damage happens after the moment, when you punish yourself so strongly that you become more afraid next time. If you want your voice to stay with you, you must change what happens after speaking, not only during speaking. After a conversation, do not ask only, what did I do wrong? Ask, where did I stay present? Ask, which sentence came out well? Ask, what did I express?
Even if it was simple, a kind reflection helps the brain feel safer about trying again. A cruel reflection teaches the brain to avoid risk. Now, I want to give you a practical reset you can use in real life. When someone asks you something and you feel your mind starting to go blank, remember these 4 steps. First, breathe out. Not in, out. A longer exhale tells the body to soften. Second, choose one simple sentence instead of the perfect answer. Third, use a bridge phrase if needed. Fourth, continue with one real detail. For example, if someone asks, "What do?" you do not need the perfect polished version. You can say, "I work in sales. It's busy, but I'm learning a lot." That is enough. That is real. That is communication. If someone asks, What did you do this weekend? And your mind feels empty. Do not chase a complicated story. Start small. I stayed home mostly. I watched a film and rested. Then let the next sentence come after that. Many learners freeze because they think they must deliver the whole answer immediately. But conversation is not a speech. You are allowed to build it one sentence at a time. Let me say something that may matter deeply to someone listening right now. Needing more time does not make you less intelligent. Speaking slowly does not make you less capable. Searching for words does not make you less worthy. You are learning how to carry meaning through a language that still feels delicate in your hands. Of course that takes courage. Of course that takes patience. Of course that feels vulnerable sometimes. There is nothing shameful about that. And maybe this is the quiet truth beneath today's episode. The voice you are trying to build in English is not only a speaking voice, it is also a trusting voice, a calmer voice, a less punished voice, a voice that does not disappear the moment pressure enters the room. That kind of voice is built slowly, not through panic, not through comparison, not through self-attack. It is built through repetition, safety, honesty, and brave, imperfect use. One day, Lena noticed something small. She was in a normal conversation, and a question came. The old tension arrived for a second, but it did not control the whole moment. She breathed. She smiled gently. She used a simple phrase. Then, another sentence came. It was not perfect. It was not elegant, but it was alive. She had stayed with herself. That moment mattered more than any grammar exercise because it proved something new. Her voice had not been gone. It had only been afraid. Maybe your voice is not gone either. Maybe it is waiting for less pressure. Maybe it is waiting for a kinder space. Maybe it is waiting for you to stop measuring fluency only by speed and start measuring it by presence, honesty, and continuity. A strong voice is not the loudest one. Often, it is simply the one that stays. If this episode felt personal, then maybe it is, because you are not alone in this experience. Many quiet learners carry this same hidden struggle. Many thoughtful people freeze, not because they have nothing to say, but because they care so much about saying it well. There is hope in that. What feels stuck can move. What feels blocked can soften. What feels blank can open again. Take one promise with you today. When the pressure rises, I will not abandon myself. I will slow down. I will choose one sentence. I will stay in the moment. I will let simple English be enough. That promise is small, but it can change the way you speak, and maybe even the way you see yourself. If you want, come back to this episode again when you need calm before speaking. Let it remind you that fluency is not only about vocabulary, it is also about safety, rhythm, and self-trust. And if this kind of slow English helps you feel less afraid and more understood, stay with this channel. There is space for your voice here. There is time for your growth here.